Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver.
Good morning, Bix Weir, Roota.com with your morning horde of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Actually, it's got a scoop of probiotics in it, too. Which I should have stirred a little more. I'm getting little chunks of it. Anyway, besides that, classic rant by my friend Chris Marcus over at Arcadia Economics. It's called, How Many People Did JP Morgan's Parking Lot Garage Kill Last Night? You got to go watch this, Arcadia Economics. This might get him kicked off YouTube. I'm not sure how long this is going to be up. But he goes through this parking lot that all the lights are on. It's a parking lot, I don't know where he is, Austin or something, in Texas. All the lights are on everywhere, and there's not a car in the place. All the lights everywhere are on. And he just goes off. I know where his anger comes from. Having dealt with these criminals for so long, they have murdered people from their actions. Remember all the Enron shit? People died from that. And yeah, Ken Lay disappeared onto Ken Lay's Island where Jeffrey Epstein and all those people. But there are consequences to financial skullduggery. Financial manipulation does cost lives, does cost livelihoods. Imagine all the people who have been laid off from the mining industry over the past, well, since I've been doing it, over 20 years, since they've been rigging the markets for the last 100 years. It was in the 1920s, they shipped all the mining equipment off to Russia. They shipped it all off to Russia because they wanted to use everybody else's natural resources first. So basically, they took all the jobs away from people in the United States. It's just a brutal con. So I understand his anger, but you guys got to watch that. I hope he passes through the anger. I don't know if you can get banned for just being angry. There's a little language in there, but you probably can in today's snowflake society. So, but check it out while you can. It's called How Many People Did JP Morgan's Parking Lot Garage Kill Last Night? Classic. I sent him an email. I said, do you need a hug? He'll be all right. Don't worry, people. All right, let's get to the meat and bones of this. We are in the final days of silver manipulation after 170 years of silver manipulation. Keep that in mind. I'll show you kind of where we are, where I think we are, and a couple more moves that the good guys are about to make that could really put the nail in the coffin for these criminal bankers who have controlled our lives and especially the markets for so long. Yes, the banking system won't survive a silver price moonshot. Basically, the derivative market is blown apart, so too big to fail banks go down. That was always the plan. The plan was always to destroy the banks through the derivatives. I did hear word through the little grapevine that the repo market has started to go wonky once again. Again, it's the derivative market that will destroy everything. Back to Nostradamus, imitations of gold and silver will be tossed into the lake. So everybody's trying to get the real thing now, and there's only two places really to get it. For the little guy, send an email to Andy Scheckman. He's got inventory. Not a lot, but he's got some inventory. It's Andy, A-N-D-Y, at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. All you Roota people already know this, have ordered from him. Now would be the time to place your final orders. I cashed in a little of my, you're not gonna like this. I cashed in a little bit of my Theta because it was so out of whack with my silver holdings. So I'm gonna go buy some physical silver. And this is for my self-directed IRA. So I won't be able to touch these millions of dollars until I retire at 65. But 65 for me is coming fast. I'm 56 years old. My God. Anyway, here's what I think's going on. First of all, Bix, why are you saying this? It's always been the same story from you. The silver gang is always beating you every single time. True. But we've never seen this. Look at what I'm looking at right here on the Comex. We only have 5 days. 5 days left until the end of the February contract. And all the open interest can stand for delivery come March or the end of February. I think they start deliveries at the end of next week. But the last day of trading is Wednesday. So this position right here is unheard of. 76,743 contracts are open still with only 5 trading days left. That's 383 million ounces of physical silver that could stand for delivery. The old record was July. It was just everybody was blown away. It was like 85 million ounces. Right now, we're sitting at 383 million at a time when everybody knows there's no silver left. That's why all these ETFs are changing their prospectus. I'll get to that in 1 second because that is a big deal. And our good friend Ted Butler is starting to offer them a solution that would destroy the entire complex. But it's the only solution there is. I'll get to that in a second. So check this out. We had a big tick up yesterday, but these volumes are ridiculous. 100 million ounces or 100 million contracts is a 500 million ounces of silver that traded in a day. And that's a small day. Look at this 2 billion ounce day. I've talked about this a lot. But out of all the contracts, over the 500 million ounces, they only got rid of 4,000. Wow. Normally by now, this would be down to about 20,000, and then they'd knock it down to 10,000 by the time of delivery. It's at 76,000. 76,000, the 383 million ounces could be standing for delivery. Where do I think it'll come out? I think there has to be some. I've been waiting for these big moves where they close out positions, either pay off or roll it over and things like that. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. It's still at 383 with 5 days left. Again, last chance to get your physical silver. And that includes all the ETFs. Last chance to get your physical silver. Let's talk about the ETF. Let's check out the volume on SLV. SLV is, so you can take delivery of SLV if you have 50,000 shares. And it looks like from the data, here's the data right here, another 2 million shares were taken yesterday. 2 million ounces of physical silver removed. Somebody stood for delivery. Was it Elon Musk? I don't know. That was my yesterday post. Someone stood for delivery for another 2 million ounces yesterday from SLV. So there's only 2 places to get real, the 1,000-ounce bar of silver. Number one is the Comex. Right now, that starts next week at 383 million ounces potentially right now. And the other is the iShares SLV, buying shares of SLV and then standing for delivery. Right now, theoretically, if you owned all the shares of SLV, you could stand for delivery for 674 million ounces. According to how SLV was set up, unless BlackRock wants to destroy their reputation and destroy their company with fraud, that's where we are. So yes, all the Reddit people, yes, the squeeze is working. It's not you though. I hate to tell you. There's no Reddit people in the silver futures contract trading 2 billion ounces in a day. That's $50 billion in one day. That's not Reddit. That's the people behind this entire orchestrated game. It is the Fed. Yes, the Fed is looking to take down the old system, destroy the banking cabal. Yes, the Fed and the U.S. Treasury. That's what they are doing. The good guys behind the Fed. I know it's hard to wrap your head around for a lot of people, and it's the red pill behind the red pill. But I've proven it many times at Road to Roota. Go to roadtoRoota.com. You can check it out. We will see. It's not Reddit. There's no Reddit people on the Comex. And look what happened. That's 2, 3, 4. That's 5 billion ounces in 4 days. So 5 times, it was, 25 at the time, or it's $150 billion, or $125 billion worth of trading. That's not Reddit, my friends. That's someone with unlimited funds. That's the power behind the power. All right. So here's what I want to talk about SLV. SLV has changed its prospectus so that now they can say without legal liability, we can't get any silver. And that's what they plan to do. That's why they changed their prospectus. They changed it the day after this happened. This was a run on silver, and voila, it ended up they couldn't get any more silver. That's where they are, okay? So SLV right now is, let's see, volumes are low. Let me show you where the volume spiked, just like on the Comex. And there's something that Ted Butler hasn't addressed, but I will address. He addressed something about what's going to happen to SLV. This is, by the way, go to butlerresearch.com and join. It's like $30 a month or something like that. Join, become a member. If you want the inside scoop on exactly what the illegality of this banking cabal, using the Ted doesn't do any conspiracy stuff. He's not afraid of it. He just can't prove it in court because he sends all his articles to the CFTC, the DOJ, and to JP Morgan themselves and all the criminals. If he calls out a criminal, he's going to send them the article because all his data comes from the official reported data. It's amazing. So Ted's talking a lot these days about iShares SLV. And he says if they cannot get any silver to add as people buy shares, the fiduciary responsibility of BlackRock would be to turn it into a closed-end ETF like PSLV, where they have a fixed amount of silver. It's not open-ended. It's a fixed amount because they can't get any more. And then as they add more, they'll add more shares, so you'll see a premium on the shares. So we might see SLV trading for a lot. If they do that, trading for a lot higher than the price of silver. Now here's the kicker with Ted's suggestion. It's not even a suggestion. He says it is the fiduciary responsibility of BlackRock to do this if they cannot provide the silver for the ETF. Because it's the trust and the shareholders of the trust that matter more than the banking cabal and what happens to the price of silver. Their fiduciary responsibility lies in the shareholders and the trust, which holds the silver. Okay? The best thing for those people, if you can't get any silver, is to close it up and make it a closed-end ETF, just like PSLV. That's That's Ted's suggestion, and it's a great suggestion, and I think it's the only way to go. I think it will happen. Now here's the kicker from the Roota conspiracy side that Ted's not allowed to talk about. We heard the other day from the JP Morgan trader that it's the ETFs that are hedging, that are the shorts on the Comex. And I've been screaming about that's, of course it is. And it's criminal to do it because they don't own the silver. In a closed entity, they could argue theoretically, well, we're authorized participants, so we're always buying and selling and putting silver in, putting silver out. If they close it, there goes that argument. And all of a sudden, you're lying there with a dangling naked short, completely void of any kind of backing, completely naked. The emperor has no clothes, game over. Now, did Ted Butler, was this his reasoning for suggesting that? Probably, but he wouldn't say that. But it does make sense that SLV, if they cannot get silver to add to their trust, they have to turn it into a closed-end trust where they're not adding any more silver, and then the shares trade at a premium to the amount of silver held as the price of silver rises. Just like PSLV. Like PSLV, you can't hedge anything on PSLV. There's no one who has a legal authority to hedge it. So what would happen? All the shorts on the Comex would instantly become naked. I think they are naked anyway, but instantly become naked because they have no legal right to pull those shares out. Only the shareholder can pull the ounces out of SLV. Only the shareholder can pull out the ounces. I know it's complicated for a lot of people, but hey, you're asking me what's different now between what was different before? A lot. We had Jim Rogers, an investor guru who wrote the Bible of commodity investing back in 2004, I think it was, called Hot Commodities. And I talked about this. Nowhere in that book does he talk about silver. I was shocked. And then the more I understood, hey, this is a game. You cannot throw a nuclear bomb into that game and expect things to go well. Everything he said in that book screamed silver, but he didn't even mention silver. And then in the last 2 weeks, he's been coming out saying, buy silver. You better buy silver. Silver's at 1/2 of its all-time high. Gold's at triple its all-time high. You better buy silver. That was not allowed for decades. And now you cannot find an analyst anywhere in the world that is not bullish on silver. None of them. Unless they work for the shorts. And even the Goldman Sachs guy who came in and gave that interview and said, it's the ETFs that are shorting. Even he couldn't, he was trying to defend that it's impossible to short squeeze silver. Well, it was just done 4 or 5 days ago. And that's why they had to change this prospectus. So we're looking at next Wednesday is the end of the February contract. Right now, again, we're looking at close to 400 million ounces that could stand for delivery right now. Obviously, that would shut down the Comex in a week. They got to do something. Normally, in these times, you could see a flash crash to negative silver. That's why you cannot look at price. Remember, yes, silver can go negative, just like oil can go negative. It's a criminal cabal running this game. So I do expect hyper volatility between now and then. Get your physical, get it in your own possession, sit back. You won't enjoy the ride, but if you have physical silver and physical cryptos, literally physical cryptos on a hardware wallet or a paper wallet in your own possession, you will survive. And this isn't about making money anymore. This is about surviving what's coming down the pike. All right. Enough of that. Again, join Ted Butler's. He does 2 newsletters a week. Wednesday at 11 o'clock, my time, and then Saturday at 11 o'clock, my time. Yes, that's how like I always hang right on the edge of saying, okay, what's Ted? Because Ted's information is unbelievable. He's been doing this since the early 1980s. He was doing orange juice contracts in the 70s. He knows what he's doing, but he will not go to the conspiracy side. That's my job. I'm all about the conspiracy because I know it's true. But I can't prove it in court. Well, I probably could. If JP Morgan sues me about all I've said about the silver manipulation and these banks sue me, we'll go to discovery and I'll show you exactly where they did it. I'm going to pull all their trading records, especially on, May 1st, 2011. The silver drive-by shooting. All the trading records leading up to it. What happened on that day, on that Sunday night, who was the one that dumped all that silver, and then the fake bear market we're in right now. I would pull all records on everything, JP Morgan. I have so much dirt on them, and in court, that's what they're afraid of, discovery, because there's just so many documents they can shred. Ask Blythe Masters. Anyway, hey, great report from Sprott. Sprott's a great company. Bravo to Maria Smirnova. Sounds Russian. Cool. Silver's clean energy future. Go to sprott.com. It's in there. You'll find it. Called Silver's Clean Energy Future. You can just Google that. And it talks about silver in this clean energy. I've been screaming it. Yeah, I didn't want Biden and the socialists to get into power, even though I knew that was the most likely route to get beyond rich, beyond your dreams. If you're a commodity investor, if you're a silver investor, and if you're a crypto investor. I knew that. So it takes a little bit of the sting away that I'm going to lose my country that the Biden administration got in, but not a lot. I would have sacrificed everything to save my country, and I still am fighting for my country. It's not over yet. But check out this report. How much silver is going to be needed? There's not enough silver in the world, anywhere, much less on the silver and SLV inventories or the Comex inventories. And by the way, those inventories are rehypothecated. So some ounces, a lot of bars are counted in both. I'm just saying, keep an eye on that, JP Morgan. And JP Morgan plays leasing shell games to do that. All right, let's talk about some of this stuff. Let's just go over some great graphs. did you guys know that in 2020 silver was up 47%, which is almost double the gain in gold and platinum, in palladium? It's 1.5 times the S&P growth. Double B bonds killed those. U.S. dollar destroyed that. Silver was a great investment last year, and this year it's going to blow everything out of the water. A lot of people saying, Bix, why are you saying 1-to-1 silver to gold ratio? Why do you even say that? You lose credibility. I know I'm onto something every time someone tells me I lose credibility. Here's why. The vast majority of silver is used in industrial applications, solar panels, electronics, batteries, biocides. Right here, 51%. So of the 750, let's just call it 800 because we had COVID last year, 800 million ounces that's mined every year, half of that is gone. So that cannot be counted in the valuation of monetary metals. And the 1-to-1 ratio historically has been a monetary ratio. The only reason it broke away from the monetary ratio, which is the availability of above ground for investment purposes, the only reason it broke off is the manipulation on the Comex. And that broke off in 1971. Broke off from the natural coming out of the ground type of thing. So yeah, we are not talking about 800 million ounces of silver coming out of the ground every year versus the amount of gold coming out of the ground. We're not talking about the 6 billion ounces of gold they say is available and the 2 billion ounces of silver they say is available. Those are the two monetary sides. So it should be 1-to-3 right now, but it's not. It's 65-to-1. And so most of the silver goes to industrial applications, over 51%. 21% still goes to jewelry. And then there's silverware, 7% in photography. So that's another 10%. Oh, less than 20%. Less than 20%, which is 160 million ounces, is available for investment purposes. That's where we get the 1-to-1 ratio. At least 1-to-1. And I can argue that there's a hell of a lot of gold above ground than just 6 billion ounces. And it's not hard to argue that either. All right. So she goes on to say, as global efforts to decarbonize and electrify gather steam, we expect 3 areas to contribute significantly to silver consumption. Remember, there's no silver left. Investment and all that, there's no silver left. That's why they're changing the prospectus. So how is silver consumption going to grow without the price going through the roof? Number 1, automotive sector and electric vehicles, including the associated infrastructure. A lot of people don't talk about the associated infrastructure. This is a great point. Yes, there's a lot of silver that goes into these electric cars. I think it's 2 to 3 times the amount of silver is needed for an electric car versus a regular car. And it's all done in the electronics and the conductors, but with the batteries and all that. But there's infrastructure needed for electric cars. All these electric charging spots use a hell of a lot of silver. And those are growing massively. I know someone very close to me who has a Tesla. And she loves her Tesla. But she consumes silver. And I'm like, yeah, high five, you're consuming silver. All right, number 2, the solar energy. Everybody's screaming about solar. What's going on in Texas and all that? The problem right now is the freezing of these wind-powered turbines. Yes, of course they're freezing. They knew they would freeze. So, and if you don't have sun, you're not making much solar. But at the same time, if you have backup batteries that use even more silver, you'd be fine. If you replaced all that wind power with solar power and backup batteries, there wouldn't be this problem. Well, there you go. Just another reason to get your hands on as much silver as possible, because guys like Elon Musk are going to try to get that silver out of the Comex and out of the SLV inventories. And they got money to pay any amount of money. It's life or death for Elon Musk and his Teslas and his power generation company. He's got to buy all that silver, and he will. He's not a dummy. He's probably already got those contracts. He's probably 200 million of the 400 million that are ready to stand for delivery. And then number 3, 5th generation broadband cellular networks. Ooh, that sounds a little That sounds a little Theta-ish. They're not going to, by the way, they're not going to expand that infrastructure with billions. So I would say it is needed, yes, but there is a different solution for that one. All right. President Joe Biden signed an executive order tackling the climate crisis, home and abroad, setting a goal to transition the U.S. government fleet of cars and trucks assembled in the U.S. as of 2019 to electric. As of 2019, the U.S. government owned approximately 645,000 vehicles, about a third of which are used by the U.S. Postal Service. An initial step in it. Can you imagine the little the mailman racing around in solar or in electric cars? Those electric cars are ridiculously fast. I've sat in a Tesla S, and white knuckles. That's all I have to say. White knuckles. It's like 0 to 60 in less than like a second and a half. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Anyway, yes, but it's gonna happen. All our little guys in their mail cars are going to be zipping around the neighborhood, running over cats. All right, automotive electrical components. Great chart here. All this stuff that needs silver is outlined. It's used in little bitty bits, but in reality, a lot more bitty bits in electric cars. But how many cars are out there on the road? How many cars are being made? Oh, I have some sad news about my RV. They're saying it's 2-month delay. Are you kidding me? Because of China, because of the circuitry. I don't know if I'll ever get it. I might have to get a used RV, a beater, for a while. Anyway, they estimate by 2029 there will be 10 million public and 50 million private charging points. And we believe the move to autonomous driving will lead to even higher levels of electronic system complexity and further boost in silver use. Let's get into... Yeah, the numbers just don't work for making the whole world into electric cars. There's not enough silver. And in a real world, if there's extra silver demand, the price goes up. Well, we don't live in a real world. And then solar panels, I know everybody is saying that, well, it's obvious. It can't happen. By 2025, look at this. They're looking to, here we are in 2020, double by 2025. It's just, there's no silver there. The silver is not available. And then, so what's going to happen to the price of silver? Boom, moonshot. 1-to-1 with gold. I don't think it'll be at 2,000. I think gold's going to go up too. I would say silver goes to 5 to 10,000 as gold goes to 5 to 10,000. Of course, that would mean a shutting down of the Comex, the place where they rig the price. Once that's done, it's been going on since 71, since they implemented the computer programs to rig the price of silver. Once that's done, look out. And then they get into 5G and cellular networks. There's a workaround there. You don't have to spend trillions of dollars to build out 5G networks. For Theta, at least for broadband. The broadband expansion, it's a problem. Everybody's talking about it. And nobody's actually implementing a solution because they'd already figured it out. We have the infrastructure already in place, and it's on your laptop. It's a software solution to expand broadband, not a hardware solution. So I would argue against Sprott. But, I mean, she's just quoting what the mainstream's saying. Oh, my God, we have to increase all these cellular networks. You don't. You can. It's a software solution on your laptop. Go to thetatoken.org. You'll figure it out. All right, talking of cryptos, Bitcoin, look at this, 52,000. We are going to hit the $1 trillion mark for Bitcoin very soon. $1 trillion market cap. That's going to make the news. Everybody's going to say that could be the point where they slam it down for a little bit. Any slams down that happen is a buying opportunity of the good ones. Yes, they can slam it down, like Chris Giancarlo and Steve Mnuchin and Donald Trump did in 2017-18. They can slam it down 90%. Yes, that's why you have to be on the sidelines with your cryptos, because these exchanges are fraudulent. Will it happen? With the crashing of the financial system, we won't know what the price of Bitcoin is because all the exchanges will be shut down. So just keep that in mind. Again, Assets in your own possession, it's not about making money, it's about surviving and having some assets intact that will be useful in the future. Useful. Speaking of useful, Theta is on a roll, but there's all these crazy cryptos that are on a bigger roll. Theta is number 26 on the list. It is moving up to number 1 or 2. I would say number 2 in the next couple years, and then number 1 ultimately. Why? Because it's the most useful of all of them. It is the new internet. So look how high it has to roll. It's going to go past Tezos, VE Chain, IOTA, NIM, Tron, EOS, Bitcoin SV. I don't even know why that's still up there. Monero, Cosmos, Aave, Uniswap, Wrap Bitcoin, Dogecoin is the most ridiculous coin ever. Why did Doge go up? Because Elon Musk tweeted about it. Even the guy who invented Dogecoin says, I have no idea what these idiots are thinking. It's true. Look how many Dogecoins there are. 52 billion. No, wait, yeah. 52 billion. That's crazy. Chainlink, Bitcoin Cash. It's going to blow by all these. Litecoin, XRP, obviously. Polkadot, Cardano, Binance, Tether. Tether will be gone. So basically, it'll be competing for 1 and 2 between Ethereum and Bitcoin. With Ethereum, Theta is 15 times faster and practically free to do a transaction. Ethereum's going to cost you $10 to $50 to do a transaction. You cannot run a business on Ethereum. You can on Theta. I'm just saying. Theta doesn't want to promote that it's the Ethereum killer, but guess what? It's the Ethereum killer. And then Bitcoin. Bitcoin core developers locked it up and said, we don't want anybody stealing our money. We want the safest crypto in the world because people don't understand cryptos and they aren't comfortable with them. We want the banking sector to get into crypto, so we're going to just lock it up and make it completely useless to the vast majority of humanity. Huge mistake. That's what spawned the birth of all the altcoins. But thank you, core developers. You killed Bitcoin, but you really opened up the rest of the world to all kinds of altcoins. And that's what the future is. So no, I'm not investing in Bitcoin. I'm not worried about the security of Theta. The Theta protocol is unbelievable. Byzantine fault tolerance, Guardian nodes, validator nodes. I would argue it's safer than Bitcoin. And it doesn't cost the kind of electricity cost that Bitcoin does. Another thing that's going to kill Bitcoin. It's sad, but that's what I would rather have Bitcoin Cash than Bitcoin any day of the week. Any day of the week. Anyway, so yes, I do think Theta is going to blow by Bitcoin. Is it this year? It could be. They have some massive marketing campaign that they've already announced, and the remote viewers saw sports stars talking about everybody's going to have Theta on their lips. Everybody. And it's a technology company. All the investors in technology are going to come over to these cryptocurrencies and say, what are these? These are just tokens. And wait, what's this? What's this company that is expanding the broadband with a software solution? Why don't we know about this company? Let's take our trillions of dollars that we invest in Apple and Google and Microsoft, who are already in Theta, by the way, and throw it into the Theta tokens. Boom, Moonshot. Boom, Moonshot. Speaking of moon, guess who I'm talking to today? Miss Jenny Moonshot Moonstone. Silver Moonshot. She's so bullish on silver right now. So I'll be talking to her today. I'll be posting that on the private road. And yeah, she's in the know. I think we'll be also talking about a new token. And it is very rare that I talk about a new token. And because I don't have the time and energy, I found the tokens that I want to understand, and I've got a position in them. But this is a new one that she brought to my attention that I've been looking into, and I'm like, holy shit, we might have another one. So I think we'll be talking about that. I'm not sure yet. It depends on the spiritual, whatever goes on in her process, which is awesome. And yes, she promises to have internet. Last week, it had to be a phone call, and everybody misses Jenny's face, so we're going to get her on the internet. And she has 2 interviews with Jean-Claude today, too, I think. So she's working very hard. Let's keep her in business. Go to jennymoonstone.com and book your reading today. Book your reading today. All right, it's Bix Weir, roadrooter.com. I'll talk to you.
Are there any silver lovers out there? Silver! Pay me my silver now. Cajun version. Zydeco version? What is it? Do we remember how we started this? Like Little Feet.